Dear students, we are going to discuss about lesson number 45, Citizen Charter. The main objectives of this lesson are understanding the Citizen Charter, particularly in government, and Citizen Charter and good governance, Citizen Charter benefits. Good governance, a frequently used term in international development literature, has been the key importance in development debate. The concept gained popularity since early 1990s. Since then, it is regarded as a prerequisite for sustainable development as it leads to democratic and responsive administration. Good governance is regarded as a prerequisite for sustainable development, both economic and social systems. Good governance emphasis on three essential aspects of transparency, accountability, and responsiveness of the administration. Citizen Charter initiative is a response to the quest for solving the problems which a citizen encounters day in and day out while dealing with the organizations providing public services. Several mechanisms are used to enforce social accountability of public agencies, and these include participatory budgeting, public expenditure tracking, social auditing, monitoring of public service delivery by citizens, citizen advisory boards, citizens charter, right to information movements, public interest litigations, vigilance committees, public hearings, lobbying and advocacy campaigns. It also acknowledges that democracy, good governance, and the rule of law at the national and international levels, as well as enabling environment, are essential for sustainable development, including sustained and inclusive economic growth, social development, environmental protection, and the eradication of poverty and hunger. The background of Citizen Charter. The Citizen Charter was launched with the aim of ensuring the public services were responsive to the citizens they served. The concept of Citizen Charter enshrines the trust between the service provider and its users. The concept was first articulated and implemented by United Kingdom by the Conservative government of John Major in 1991. Prime Minister John Major explained the intention of the Citizen Charter in the following way. It will work for quality across the whole range of public services. It will give support to those who use services in seeking better standards. People who depend on public services, patients, passengers, parents, pupils, benefit claimants, all must know where they stand and what service they have a right to expect. The program was relaunched in 1998 by the Labour government of Tony Blair, which rechristened it Service First. The new charter program was framed as, we want public services that respond to the needs and wishes of people who use them on a daily basis, which gives public servants the chance to show their dedication, enthusiasm, and initiative, and which work together to improve the communities they serve. Meaning and importance of Citizen Charter. The Citizens Charter is a statement of service targets published by service providing agencies. The objective of charter exercise is to build bridges between citizens and administration and to streamline administration in tune with the needs of citizens. Citizen Charter is a program of action encompassing partnership between government and people. It is a proactive approach to good governance which brings about citizen centricity and customer focus. Citizen Charter is a written and voluntary declaration by service providers that service delivery will involve elements like accessibility, choice and consultation, courtesy, grievance redressal, information, non-discrimination service standards, transparency and value for money. This will enable them to fulfill citizens' expectations and realize that their primary duty is to show prudence in spending taxpayers' money and provide necessary services to them. The components of Citizen Charter are vision and mission statement, details of business transacted by the organization, details of clients, details of services provided to each client group, details of grievances redressal mechanism and how to access it, and expectations from the clients. The elements of a good citizen charter are focused on customer requirements, simple language, service standards, effective remedies, training, delegation, feedback mechanism, close monitoring and periodic review. The principles of citizen charters are published standards, openness and information, choice and consultation, courtesy and helpfulness, redress when things go wrong, and value for money. The initiative of Citizen Charter is a means to redress the grievances and solve the problems of the citizens arising from their day-to-day interaction with public services delivery agencies. The concept entails the trust and confidence between the service providers and its users regarding the quality and quantity of services being provided. It is a statement of intent about the obligations of the public servants and the rights of the citizens. Its proper implementation will improve service delivery, increase responsiveness and accountability of public officials and agencies, fulfill expectations of citizens, and bring about greater public satisfaction. The basic objective of the Citizen Charter is to empower the citizen in relation to the public service delivery. The 6 principles of the Citizen Charter movement as originally framed were: quality, improving the quality of services; choice, providing choice wherever possible; standards, specify what to expect and how to act if standards are not met; value, add value for the taxpayers' money; accountability, be accountable to individuals and organizations; and transparency, ensure transparency in rules, procedures, schemes, grievances. Global scene. The Citizen Charter was first launched in Britain by the then Prime Minister John Major in July 1991. Its objective was to improve the public service by making administration accountable and citizen friendly, ensuring transparency and the right to information, taking measures to cleanse and motivate civil service, adopting a stakeholder approach, and saving time both implementing agency and the citizens. Indian scene. The beginning of citizen charters can be traced back to the drafting of a charter for health service providers by consumer rights activists at a meeting of the Central Consumer Protection Council in Delhi in 1994. The initiative of Citizens Charter was taken up on national level in 1996 when consensus began to emerge on effective and responsive administration. The Conference of Chief Ministers of various states and union territories held in May 1997 in New Delhi, presided over by the then Prime Minister Inder Kumar Gujral, adopted an action plan for effective and responsive government at the center and state levels. A major decision taken at the conference was that the central and state governments would formulate citizens' charters. A beginning was to be made from those sectors which have a large public interface, such as posts, public distribution systems, railways, and telecom. These charters were to include standards of service, time limit for service delivery, possibilities for redress of citizens' grievances, and a provision for independent scrutiny with the involvement of citizen and consumer groups. As on 22nd January 2011, 131 citizens' charters have been formulated by central ministries, departments, and organizations. The Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Government of India, as a nodal agency for administrative reforms and redress of public grievances, began the work of coordinating, formulating and operationalizing citizen charters. The department circulated the guidelines for formulating charters and communicated a list of do's and don'ts the several government departments organizations. This was done to enable them to come out with focused and effective charters. Prominence is given to the involvement of citizen groups, consumer groups and other stakeholders in the formulation of charters so the needs of the users can be met and their expectations can be included. Regular monitoring, review and evaluation of citizens charter both internally and through external agencies are stressed. Most of the national charters are posted on the websites of the government and are open to public scrutiny. Organizations are advised to make known their charters through print, electronic media and awareness campaigns. The Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances developed and launched a comprehensive website on citizen charters, that is www.goichartersnic.in in May 2002. Useful information, data and links are provided in the website. A compendium of summarized versions of all citizen charters in Government of India in a book and a CD form was bought out by the department in 2003. The compendium has the operative standards and quality of proposed public services and public grievance redress mechanism. It includes the details of nodal officers in central government ministries, departments, organizations and a list of website addresses of concerned ministry, department, organization. Regional seminars, capacity building and workshops and department specific workshops on the subject are being organized. Nodal officers for citizen charters have been appointed in ministries, departments, organizations of Government of India. The existing citizen charters of many agencies and departments generally act only as the information provider regarding their functions. They have no guideline on accountability in case of a non-compliance or violation in delivering services to people. Hence, they do not fulfill the criteria of enforcing accountability in governance, which is the basis of introducing Citizens Charter. Despite making several public policies for bringing progress to people, what fails is inefficiency and corruption at the level of delivery. Lack of accountability and reliability in delivery of public goods and services poses problem for citizens who as a result fail to avail themselves of basic amenities and standard of life and hence lose out on development. Therefore, in response to tackle such widespread corruption and lethargy in public service delivery across India, the government tabled the rights of citizens for time-bound delivery of goods and services and redressal of their grievance bill 2011 in the parliament in 2012. This bill was introduced by the government in 2011 when anti-corruption movement spurred by Anna Hazare and demanded that a citizen charter with a compulsory penal provisions be introduced to curb pervasive corruption that citizens experience at the level of delivery of resources. The bill deals with government departments that deal directly with citizens like constitutional bodies, statutory authorities, public-private partnerships and NGOs substantially funded by the government and companies that provide services under a statutory organizations. Highlights of the bill. The bill seeks to create a mechanism to ensure timely delivery of goods and services to the citizens. Every public authority is required to publish its citizens' charter within 6 months of the commencement of the Act. The charter will detail the goods and services to be provided and their timelines for delivery. A citizen may file a complaint regarding any grievance related to A. Citizen charter, B. Functioning of a public authority, C. Policy or scheme. The bill requires all public authorities to appoint officers to redress grievances. Grievances are to be redressed within 30 working days. The bill also provides for the appointment of a central and state public grievance redressal commissions. A penalty of up to rupees 50,000 may be levied upon the responsible officer or the grievance redressal officer for failure of render services. Second ARC recommended a particular issues on a citizen charter. Citizen charter should be made effective by adopting the following principles. One size does not fit all. Citizen charter should be prepared for each independent unit under the overall umbrella of the organization character. Wide consultation, which includes civil society in the process, firm commitment to be made. Internal process and structure should be reformed to meet the commitments given in the charter. Redress mechanism is case of default. Periodic evaluation of citizen charters. Benchmarks using end user feedback. Hold officers accountable for the results. Second ARC suggested 7-step model for citizen centricity. Define all services which you provide and identify your clients. Set standards and norms to each service. Develop capability to meet the set standards. Perform to achieve the standards. Monitor the performance against the set standards. Evaluate the impact through an independent mechanism. Continuous improvement based on monitoring and evaluation of results. Reasons for a limited success of citizen charters initiatives. There are a number of reasons for a limited success of citizen charter initiatives. The chief or the main reasons are charters being treated as a matter of routine work with no sense of urgency accorded to them. A centralized approach being adopted with limited delegation of powers. Bureaucratic style of functioning. Lack of citizen-friendly approach. Lack of involvement of frontline staff and citizens in various stages of charter cycle. Up-to-date and timely training not being provided to staff. Outdated work procedure with no efforts to streamline them. Poor functioning of systems. Lack of transparency. Communication gap between various levels of officials and between officials and the public. Inadequate feedback from citizens. Inadequate publicity to charters with no planned approach, and lack of public confidence in the system and doubt about their credibility. Points for improvement in the citizen charters. Public agencies should feel a moral duty to formulate citizen charter. Top leadership and other staff should have a sincere sense of commitment towards the practice of citizen charter. Customer-friendly environment should be created in offices. Frontline staff should be made active participants in all stages of citizens charter by delegating adequate authority to them. They should be empowered to take decisions in cases of like failure of organizations to deliver service with quality and when there are genuine complaints from citizens. Quality assurance approach should be built up in the employees through means like training, mentoring, learning, networks, site visits, etc. Change in behavior and attitude of staff should be brought about. They should adopt an empathetic attitude. Citizens should be actively involved in all stages of citizen charter. Citizens should be made aware and educated about the services provided by the organizations. This will enable them to realize a sense of their duty. Adequate publicity should be given to citizen charter. This will require involvement of press, electronic media and users. Best practices all over the world should be studied and analyzed. They can be adopted after due consideration and their adaptation to suit the requirements of the country. Customer quality assurance approach should be built into strategic and performance management systems. Latest technology should be adopted and constantly upgraded. Work procedures should be reviewed and streamlined. Customer confidence building measures should be taken up. Information and reports should be shared with service users. Regular feedback should be obtained from citizens and it should be used to improve quality of service. Grievance redressal procedure should be put in place. They should be simple and ensure speedy solutions to the complaint. Regular monitoring and evaluation should be done as they help to improve performance of system and build citizens' confidence in the credibility. Evaluation should be both internal and external. A citizens charter represents the commitment of the organization towards standard, quality and the frame of service delivery, grievance redress mechanism, transparency and accountability. The good inevitability of good governance for sustainable development has been realized by every nation. Various practices have been adapted by the governments all over the world to ensure the practical application of the concept of good governance. One such practice is the formulation and implementation of Citizen Charter by public organizations. The experience over a period of time indicates the presence of number of hurdles in the entire process of Citizen's Charter. Relentless and continuous efforts at increasing the public knowledge about citizen charters initiatives can go a long way in creating a sense of entitlement. The most important tier of Citizens Charter is responsible governance planned by creating an environment of assertiveness on the part of people and enforcing responsiveness on government. These hurdles and difficulties should be properly addressed if the utility of Citizens Charter as a mode of citizen centric has to be realized.